What's happening, everybody? Good evening. It's Friday. It's Memorial Day weekend, so I had the day off. I have Monday off coming up, so it's going to be a few days. It's been a long time since I had any days off of work. From February 5 until now. And I'm a person who started a standard for myself of having a minimum of 1 day off per month. And I guess I was fortunate because that's what was provided for me at my last job. If there was anything I could complain about, they were actually rather good with the time off. So I had many opportunities throughout the year to take time off. And time off was real time off. Not time off how it is for me here, where I know that, yes, I can take time off sometimes, but the time off that I take sets me behind on all the work that I have to do. So it's like I'm physically not there, but mentally, my mind is still thinking about those things that I'm falling behind on. But anyways, the other day I talked about the positive sides of getting my diagnosis, general anxiety and clinical depression, and a couple of other things. This time I'm going to talk about the hard side of that, the downside of that. The thing that I think about, so for me, there was a time when I first got my diagnosis that it was the only thing that I thought about every single day. I felt like, why me? Why do I have to suffer like this? When is the end of this pain and suffering going to be? That's really what was on my mind quite often at the beginning. How do I get rid of this thing? This thing is terrible. I just don't like having it. Then, through many years of recovery, whether that meant going to a psychologist or whether that meant this kind of mental health rehab place that I was at for a while, or whether that meant learning things through talking to different people, reading different books, exercise. It got to the point where the depression was an underlying thing, but it was kind of an afterthought at the same time. So what I mean by that is, yes, I always knew that I have depression, and I always, in some ways, experienced it at times, but it was more background noise rather than being the melody. Here's the thing. I've become really strong over the years. So, if you see somebody exercise, like for an example, if you go to the gym, you see some people who exercise, they run on the treadmill and they do it with a weighted vest. So what happens is they have the vest on. So I'm sure that when they put the vest on for the first time, and the vest is whatever it is, 50 pounds, 40 pounds, you feel the weight of that vest every time you move around because you're not used to it. But the point of putting the vest on is to increase your strength and your endurance. So each time you put the vest on, it feels a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. And then now you put the vest on and it just feels like a regular part of you, like a regular part of your training, because you've now gotten strong enough to hold that vest without feeling like you can't complete the workout or without feeling like it's weighing you down. The thing is, on a day that you show up and for whatever reason, maybe you're not all there mentally, maybe you've gone through something difficult, suddenly you're like, wait a minute, I have this weighted vest on me. And that's what the depression is like for me. I could go through 2 months where, yes, I feel mildly depressed, but I can just push through and not even think about that. And I just push through and I push through and I keep going and I keep going. And then one day I'm like, wait, this vest feels really heavy. And that was me today. And it was strange the way that it happened because um, I felt pretty good in the morning. I woke up, I was like, it's my day off. I feel I was able to sleep in without putting on my alarm. I slept until 10 o'clock. I have never, I think this whole entire year of 2024, I don't think that I have slept past maybe 8:30. And that's a late time. I think 8:30 is probably the latest time that I've woke up prior to waking up at 10 something today. And I was just like, man, I was anticipating the happiness that I was going to feel during the time off. But then I had time on my hands because now I'm not making these calls that I usually make. I didn't log on to the computer. I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off, going to different hospitals, running to people's houses. I'm just there alone in my thoughts. And then the thoughts started to become really negative about places that I wish that I was in life, things that I wish that I had accomplished, just feeling negative about having a mental illness in general, thinking about people that haven't understood me over the years, thinking about just a lot of different things that again are usually background noise. So having an underlying depression is hard because sometimes the volume gets turned up for no particular reason. If there was something to pinpoint, this one thing happened or this specific thing happened that is making me feel this way, it's a little easier to deal with. But just having a clinical diagnosis means that at any time, for any reason, that volume can get turned up. And when it gets turned up, it paralyzes you. I lost a whole day worth of things that I said that I want to do. Oh, I have a day off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to complete this. I'm going to figure out this. I'm going to do this. I found myself at around, I don't know, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., laying in my bed, thinking, what did I do with the day? The whole day slipped away. And I had all these plans. And an optimist might say, well, maybe you needed the rest. Maybe I did need the rest, but there was a lot of other things that I needed that didn't happen. And it made me think back to many other things and then racing thoughts. And I couldn't get the day back. I couldn't rein the day back in. Some days are like that. In trying to be optimistic, I can say that those days don't happen often. Like maybe in a year, I might experience a couple of weeks like this. But those couple of weeks feel like I'm just trying to run through quicksand. And the usual optimism and the optimistic spin I can put on things isn't there. The energy that I usually feel isn't there. The joy that I usually feel just isn't there. So it's tough. It's tough. But like I said, the good part is I developed a strength and a resilience that I do at least have in my pocket for days like these, to where I know that the tough time isn't going to last. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. So if anyone else goes through time periods like this, whether they're a day, a week, a month, just know that it is a strength training for you, a mental strength training. Sometimes the only thing that you could do in a day like this is just make it to the end of the day and you put that mental weight on the rack, and it makes you a little bit stronger. And that's all I got for today. So thank you for listening. Please make sure like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.